BAYELSA State, the glory of all lands, witnessed its finest moments recently when the attention of the entire world was turned towards it. For 3 days consecutively, from Wednesday 12th to Friday 14th July 2007, the Executive Governor of BAYELSA State, Honorable Henry SERIAKE DICKSON, his wife, Dr. Mrs. Rachel Dickson, the Deputy Governor Rear Admiral John Jonah retired, the Secretary to the State Government, His Royal Highness David Serena Dokubo Spiff, the Speaker of the BAYELSA State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Kumbowi Friday Benson, including members of the National Assembly representing BAYELSA State in the Senate and House of Representatives from the 3 senatorial zones of the state, played host to iconic personalities who have impacted the society in very significant ways through patriotic and committed service to fatherland. These include the youngest and longest-serving head of state of Nigeria, General Yakubu Gowon, and his wife, Lady Victoria Gowon, the leader of the Ijaw Nation and elder statesman who was incidentally Commissioner for Information under General Yakubu Gowon, Chief Senator Dr. Edwin Kiagbodo Clark. There were the special guests who graced the official commissioning of the magnificent architectural masterpiece, BAYELSA State Governor's Office Complex in Yenagoa, the capital of BAYELSA State, and the unveiling of the Ijaw National Academy, which is regarded as the largest model boarding secondary school in Nigeria, with a population of 1,000 students. The third event was the special red carpet laid out for the first African Nobel laureate in literature, Professor Wole Soyinka, and 3 of his literary icons of Ijaw extraction. The event, which was tagged A Day with the Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka and Ijaw literary icons, was in 2 parts. 1 at the Ijaw National Academy, Kayama, BAYELSA State, and the command performance at the Chief DSP Diepri Alamesia Memorial Banquet Hall, Government House, Yenagoa, BAYELSA State. The coverage of BOS crew in BAYELSA State, made up of the chief correspondent, Prince Bisi Olatilo, who also dabbled as the master of ceremony, and Olumide Olushoga, the chief BOS cameraman, began on Wednesday, the 12th of July 2017, with the grand commissioning of what Governor Henry SERIAKE DICKSON of BAYELSA State has appropriately described as the iconic Governor's Office Complex, which is indeed easily one of the best of its type in Nigeria, if not Africa. Special prayers were invoked for the success of the proceedings by Apostle Zili Agri, the General Overseer of the Royal House of Grace. This was quickly followed by special renditions by the King of Glory Choir and the Restoration Choir. The chairman of the event of the commissioning of the BAYELSA State Governor's Office Complex, elder statesman, nationalist and the face of the Ijaw Nation, Chief Senator Dr. Edwin Kiagbodo Clark, OFR, CON, congratulated Governor Henry SERIAKE DICKSON for bequeathing to the state an office complex which every BAYELSAN will be proud of.
I'm indeed very, very proud to be here today. Not because I've been asked to be the chairman, but I'm very proud to be the son of the soil. Let us restructure this country so that everybody will have a belonging. Whether you are a majority, whether you are a minority, we are all equal Nigerians. So I'm happy today that my son, the executive governor of BAYELSA State, has thought it wise when he came to see me last week that he was going to meet. So, my governor, congratulations for being able to get General Yakubu Gowon to come and commission this edifice which they have described as the best in the whole of Nigeria. So I pray that all of you, there's no second-class citizen in this country, no first-class citizen in this country. Nobody owns this country more than you do. We are all equal.
In his own remarks, the royal father of the day, who is also the chairman of Bayelsa State Traditional Rulers Council, His Royal Majesty, King Alfred Data Spiff, also spoke in the same glowing terms regarding the giant strides of Governor Henry SERIAKE DICKSON of Bayelsa State, with very great life-changing programs in all facets of life in Bayelsa State.
50 years ago, something happened. States were created. We started off with 12 states. Today we are 36. Who knows? We may get to 50 before the exercise is over. We'd like to say welcome, sir, to you and your dear wife. The people of Bayelsa will mark this day as one of the achievements of our dear governor. This is not your first visit to Bayelsa soil, because you have come praying with us and the rest of the Nigerians. But this is very unique. And as I said again, we thank God for today. Frankly, you could see the joy in everybody's face, and you just wait till the drums start playing and you see the wiggies dancing. Welcome again, sir, and God bless you all.
Bayelsa State Commissioner for Works and Infrastructural Development, Honorable Lawrence Erujakpo, and the Managing Director ENR Contractors, who handled the flagship project, enlightened the gathering about the special features that make the new Bayelsa State Governor's Office complex a special piece of architecture to behold.
And this Governor's Office, we are going to explain it in two concepts: the structure and the design. The design of this building is a ship, meaning that from here, Bayelsa will be stepped into greatness. And this ship is made up of 4 components. The right wing, which is the side by my right, which is the governor's wing, and that's where you have the captain. And so as you enter the building, you will get up to see the captain's office. By the left is the next wing, which is the deputy governor's wing, and the life mate captain, because the life mate takes over the ship when the governor is either on leave or has been delegated to so do. At the center, you have the ESCO chambers, which is the tank or the fuel tank from where the policy's decisions of government are taken and implemented. At the end, you have the 8th block, which is the anchor from where all directives of the governor are implemented and dispatched to other arms of government.
My special thanks to His Excellency for trusting that we could design and build this project and reach to his expectations, and most of all, to materialize his vision of a great and modern Bayelsa. It was all your trust in us that led us to think beyond what we thought we were capable of doing. Thank you, His Excellency.
Described by many as the architect and builder of modern-day Bayelsa State, an assertion backed by the imperial evidence of the unprecedented infrastructural development which Governor Henry SERIAKE DICKSON has unleashed on all facets of Bayelsa State, which has completely transformed the ambience of the landscape of the state. The multi-billion naira ultra-modern Bayelsa State Governor's Office complex is indeed a masterstroke in the infrastructural development template of Governor SERIAKE DICKSON. The former police officer, lawyer, and 2-term member of the Federal House of Representatives from Sagbama local government area of Bayelsa State, gives further insight into the journey of the building of the iconic Bayelsa State Governor's Office in Yenagoa.
You are all aware that we've been working for the past 5 years to lay a solid foundation, building on what we saw on ground, and also introducing more and more things to ensure that our state gets to its desired destination. Not only are we building roads and bridges, as you all know we have done and are doing. Not only are we building hospitals and other medical facilities that are of world class and standard. Not only are we investing in peace and law and order and security, as you know we are all doing. But today we are assembled here to commission a befitting office that will serve our state for a long, long, long time to come. So I welcome all of you. Welcome all of you to this brief but very, very significant ceremony.
In his remarks, as the special guest of honor at the event, former head of state, General Yakubu Gowon, the youngest and longest-serving head of state of the most populous black nation in the world, who was accompanied by his wife, Lady Victoria Gowon, praised the foresight, commitment and focus of Governor SERIAKE DICKSON in his governance strides in BAYELSA State. He described the office complex as one of the best he has seen in Africa.
Now, mine is to say, really, to congratulate you, Your Excellency, for what you have been doing. And from what I have heard, you certainly did not just abandon anything that your predecessors have done, but you have built on them or improved on them. And this is really to your credit, because I'm sure there will be no abandoned projects here while you're here. You will complete it and build more and do even a better job on others. So I would like to say thank you to you for doing a very good job in this state. And your commitment is for the good and well-being of the people of this state.
Now, before the building was commissioned by General Yakubu Gowon, Apostle Zidi Agri, the General Overseer of the Royal House of Grace, prayed specially on the premises.
It is my honor and privilege, and I thank His Excellency, the Executive Governor of this state, for giving me this opportunity to cut the tape and to declare this beautiful edifice, this new governor's office, to declare it truly open in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
The dignitaries, led by Governor SERIAKE DICKSON, his wife, Dr. Mrs. Rachel Dickson, and others, were taken on a guided tour of the new BAYELSA State Governor's Office complex. The building is equipped to the hilt with digitally compliant state-of-the-art facilities, with the full complement of the Deputy Governor's Office and the offices of all the other operatives of government under one roof. The new BAYELSA State Governor's Office complex is indeed the poster signature of exquisite taste and eyes detail for the very best architecture can offer the world. Governor Henry SERIAKE DICKSON of BAYELSA State has ignited a revolution in the education sector designed to properly position all citizens of the state right from the formative stage to begin to think like champions with the right intellectual grounding. The Ijaw National Academy, which is Nigeria's largest boarding school with over 1,000 students drawn from all parts of BAYELSA State, is the flagship of such projects. Beneficiaries of this educational largesse will soon be extended to the nooks and crannies of the Ijaw Nation and the diaspora, and states like Rivers, Delta, Edo, Ondo, Akwa Ibom, Cross River, and others. With the establishment of the Ijaw National Academy in Kayama, Governor SERIAKE DICKSON of BAYELSA State has indeed left no stone unturned in his determination to make teaching and learning with world-class facilities and teaching staff with varied experience possible. What's more, Hundreds of millions of naira has been specially devoted to the upkeep of the students and payment of tuition fees monthly by the Bayelsa state government. It was with joy in their hearts and a feeling of immense gratitude to Governor Henry SERIAKE DICKSON that the people of Kayama in the Kolokuma-Pokuma local government area of Bayelsa state welcomed Governor SERIAKE DICKSON, his deputy, and indeed the special guest, General Yakubu Gowon and his wife, at the official commissioning of the Ijaw National Academy. The address was quickly followed by the presentation of a special plaque of appreciation to Governor SERIAKE DICKSON by Honorable Doye Diri, who represents Kolokuma-Pokuma Federal Constituency in the House of Representatives.
And it is Biken Broboyefe and special advisor, we are all here. And that is what we are provided as a team for your love, for the people, for the chiefs, for the soil of Kolokuma-Pokuma local government area. Your Excellency, we present this to you. Thank you.
To His Excellency, led by the member representing Kolokuma-Pokuma Yanagwa Federal Constituency in the House of...
In his remarks, General Yakubu Gowon again saluted the vision of Governor SERIAKE DICKSON in the very ambitious forward-looking Ijaw National Academy project, which is a fallout of his restoration agenda to totally revamp the education sector from the scratch.
Well, I can assure you, all is well that ends well, and I think the nation is benefiting from all these great efforts that you have all made. So I say, well done. And here you are making sure in your time, you are certainly giving premium to education, and that you are establishing a lot of institutions, educational institutions, from secondary, well, from primary to secondary, to the tertiary. And let me congratulate you for establishing this new Ijaw National Academy.
Governor Henry SERIAKE DICKSON restated his avowed promise to nurture a new generation of youth with a right mindset, devoid of the influence of the militancy and restiveness among the youth, which had prevailed in the entire region for some time.
Companies that have businesses in Bayelsa, individuals, leaders of our state, who are businessmen operating here and outside. This is for all of us to contribute quota to creating a new world in our state and in our country. I want to welcome you all. Yesterday, we all assembled to commission a very wonderful edifice known as the Governor's Office. One of the best in the country, yes. But it's not as important as the program for which we assembled today. I know that my government, as has been severally acknowledged, we have built roads, we have built hospitals. Hospitals that were not there before are now standing in every local government area of the state. A diagnostic center that is one of the best in this country. Because right now we have delivered on wonderful healthcare facilities. No Nigerian, no Bayelsa needs to travel out of Yenagoa to receive healthcare anymore. And we have introduced the compulsory health insurance scheme. And it is also funded with 5% of the state IGR. 5% of our state IGR also is dedicated to funding the Compulsory Education Development Trust Fund.
After the official commissioning, dignitaries were then taken on a guided tour of the Ijaw National Academy, where they planted trees at designated points. The Ijaw National Academy is a co-educational institution established to provide good quality education for the children of Bayelsa State from all strata. The vision is to expose teenage Bayelsans to Western form of education early in life, so that when they grow into adulthood, they would be insulated from influences that can lead them to militancy and other forms of vices. Located in the historic town of Kayama in Kolokuma-Pokuma local government area of Bayelsa State, students from GSS 1 to GSS 3 are selected from schools around Bayelsa State. The school has 6 newly built 3-story hostels, 3 each for male and female students, The Ijaw National Academy has properly stocked laboratory with ICT components. The principal of the Ijaw National Academy is Mr. Charles Johnson from Oxford, England, and pioneer principal of the prestigious British Oasis Academy, Abuja. The Commissioner for Education in Bayelsa State, Mr. Maxine Fefea, also gave his perspective on the bespoke Ijaw National Academy. General Yakubu Gowon, GCFR, and his wife, Lady Victoria Gowon, were treated to very exciting performances like a play, poetry recitals, and musical performances by students of the Ijaw National Academy in the special session he had with them.
My own heart, oh, am I just one part of some big plan? Even those who are gone are with us as we go on. Your journey has only begun. Tears of pain, tears of joy, one thing nothing can destroy. Yours is our pride deep inside. We are one.
General Yakubu Gowon applauded the very high standard exhibited by the students in their performance, which he attributed to the congenial learning environment under very experienced teachers. In rounding off, Governor Henry SERIAKE DICKSON again reiterated his determination to bequeath to the entire world the best students in all spheres of education, from primary, secondary to the tertiary level. It will be to his eternal pride and satisfaction that this was achieved during his tour of duty as the #1 servant of Bayelsa State. He asked stakeholders to join him. To demonstrate this, Governor Henry SERIAKE DICKSON earlier gave a check of 97 million naira plus to the Bayelsa State Education Fund, to which every worker in the formal sector must compulsorily give 5% of their salaries. The informal sector of Bayelsa State will be involved in this compulsory education levy soon. The Chief DSP Alamesia Memorial Banquet Hall Government House, Yenagoa, Bayelsa State, brimmed and shimmered with very eye-catching dresses, accentuated with appropriate accessories, which give the Bayelsa men and women that distinct edge in terms of their peculiarly fascinating dress sense. It was time for the state banquet, organized to honor the august visitor to the glory of all lands. General Yakubu Gowon and his wife, Lady Victoria Gowon, were both looking like royals in the rich Bayelsa attires they adorned. Other friends of Bayelsa State that joined in the felicitation included former Deputy Governor of Sokoto State and former Federal Minister, Alhaji Mukhtar Shehu Shagari, former Minister of Information and Culture, Mr. Labaran Maku, and Ambassador Ibrahim Kazaure. After the opening prayer, the welcome address was delivered by the Secretary to the Bayelsa State Government, His Royal Highness David Serena Dokubo Spiff, a 1977 law graduate of the Nigerian Law School. He is a lawyer, a king, and a politician.
Our governor believes in work and work and work and work. Many disagreed with him because they said, you are working, but you're not showcasing it. But being the archetypal lawyer that he is, his mind was on the legal magazine Res Ipsa Loquitur. And that is, the thing speaks for itself. He's not a noisemaker. Our governor is not a rabble-rouser. So he left his good work to speak for him. But in the political climb today, you have to blow your own trumpet, or nobody will blow it for you, or better still, or worse still, the opposition will make mincemeat of your achievement.
The main highlights of the grand state banquet rolled out for Nigeria's former head of state, General Yakubu Gowon, GCFR, were special performances which featured award-winning Bayelsa State Cultural Troupe, the Restoration Choir, and musicians like Aswekie and some up-and-coming talents from Bayelsa State. This helps to put everyone in the right frame of mind for the evening's event.
biritala makabobo. Akpanie. Akpanio. Ola biritala makabombe. Akpanie. Akpanie. Ola biritala makabombe. Akpanie. Akpanie. Ola biritala makabobo. Akpanie. Akpanie. Oh, alache. I'm in about time. I'm in about time. Ayo, I'm in about time. Bayelsa, I'm in about time. Nigeria, I'm in about time. Israel, I'm in about time.
In his remarks, General Yakubu Gowon, GCFR, thanked Governor SERIAKE DICKSON and the entire people of Bayelsa State for the great honor of inviting him and his wife, for which he said they would be eternally grateful. General Yakubu Gowon, who has been contributing significantly through prayer intercession for peace, religious tolerance and harmony among all Nigerians, also used the occasion to urge Nigerians to jettison hate speeches, but come together as one, using our diversity as a major strength to further cement our relationship.
What you have done here is to show another great example that you are not only thinking of your state, but you are thinking of all the Ijo the nation throughout, from the Cross River right down to Lagos borders, and I believe that you've also invited some of your friends from other parts of the country to encourage them to probably do exactly what you're doing. So your contribution to the oneness and greatness of the country certainly is something that all of us should be proud of, and I will say from the bottom of my heart, thank you, thank you, thank you kindly.
General Yakubu Gowon was later presented with a special plaque of appreciation by Governor SERIAKE DICKSON of Bayelsa State. In his remarks, Governor SERIAKE DICKSON again thanked General Yakubu Gowon and his beloved wife, Lady Victoria Gowon, for the visit, which he said Bayelsans and indeed the Ijaw nation will etch in a special place in their minds. Governor SERIAKE DICKSON said that the auspicious occasion further affords all Bayelsans and the Ijaw nation, and indeed the entire nation, the rare opportunity to continue to thank General Yakubu Gowon for the creation of the initial 12 states, from which the old Rivers State and eventually Bayelsa State were created.
Today, you were all part of the commissioning of the Ijaw National Academy. And you know our commitment and dedication to using education as a tool for social stability, as a tool for the development of our people, as a tool for security, as a tool for changing our society. And we have said over and over again, whereas it is good to build the roads and the bridges and expanding healthcare and agricultural opportunities that we are doing, all of these will pale into insignificance if we do not anchor our collective development on human capacity building. And so, that's why we keep making investments. That's why we keep introducing one policy after the other. And I want to use this opportunity to thank you all and pay special tribute to the support and encouragement and prayers that we have received.
The very exciting state banquet for General Yakubu Gowon ended with the spectacular performance of the talking drum and the vote of thanks. Friday, the 14th of July 2017, was a red-letter day in the ancient city of Kayama, in the Kolokuma-Pokuma local government area of Bayelsa State. A day when the people of Bayelsa State from different parts of the country played host to Africa's first Nobel laureate in literature, Professor Wole Soyinka, and 3 literary icons of Ijaw extraction, namely Dr. Gabriel Okara, Professor Ibiegberi Alagwa from Rivers State, and Professor John Pepe Clark from Delta State. The arrival of Governor SERIAKE Dickson, his wife, Deputy Governor Rear Admiral John Jonah retired, and other dignitaries was heralded by heavy jubilation and singing by the women of Bayelsa State. To set the ball in motion were the students who filled the Ijaw National Academy Auditorium, venue of the event, to the brim. The program began with a singing of the national anthem in the Ijaw language by students of the Ijaw National Academy. The welcome remark was delivered by the principal of the Ijaw National Academy, Mr. Charles Johnson.
The difference between being clever and being wise is the application of that cleverness. And the dictionary definition of wisdom is the quality of having experience, knowledge, and wisdom is probably the greatest attribute that I can give you. I would like to end, as is my normal fashion, by giving you a prayer. God, give me the serenity to accept things I cannot change, courage to change things I can, and wisdom to know the difference.
This was quickly followed by the rendition of special songs by the students. The play Abiku, which was written by Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka, was dramatized to bring back into vivid memory the messages and lessons in the play, written decades ago by Professor Wole Soyinka, a globally acknowledged poet, author, and playwright. There were also performances by the award-winning Bayelsa State Council for Arts and Culture, as well as poetry and spoken word performances by students of the Ijaw National Academy, Kayama, Bayelsa State. The performance that stood out most distinctly among others was that put up by Dr. Sophia Obi Apoko, who we hear is a lecturer at the Ijaw National Academy.
My generosity hangs me on the scale of extinction. And because my flow is poisonous to my children, resting the fight to survive the torment. Now, they say my terrain is difficult. My inner recess is unreachable. Yet I quench the thirst of desert dwellers. Far and wide, my flow invents elegant monuments, gigantic to the untutored sight of my people. Bridges and mansions grow out of dusty lands, while my children wallow in the crude mud peculiar to their swamp.
The event was rounded up with a final performance by the students of the Ijaw National Academy. The highlight of the program, tagged A Day with the Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka and the Ijaw literary icons, was the session which featured the questions and answers round table. The literary icon, the governor, and one of the students had a no-holds-barred session. Professor Wole Soyinka used this platform to address the raging clamor for restructuring and renegotiation of Nigeria. The Nobel laureate stated that the panacea to all the agitations is renegotiation, in such a way that there is equitable distribution of resources to the benefits of the areas that produce the resources.
About the Nobel Prize, and what was your reaction?
Did you say how did I learn about it?
Yes, sir.
It's a very long and interesting story, and we don't have much time. Let me just say that it was totally unexpected, and I didn't believe it was happening. And when I came home was really when it began to sink in, when I was met at the airport by my colleagues, including JP Clark over there at the airport, and friends, and everybody seemed to be excited. I think it was then it really began to sink in. I learned about it in Paris.
This question goes to His Excellency, the Governor. Can you give us a little insight of the visions and plans you have for this school?
Well, thank you very much. Our vision as a government, which is why we've made the investments we have made, not only in this school, but in the several educational facilities across the length and breadth of our state. And by the way, you know that we're also starting a new tertiary institution, ambitiously christened the University of Africa. The reason we are making these investments, even at this difficult period, is because we want to expand the frontiers of knowledge. I want to create a new generation of leaders like you and your colleagues across our state. People who will understand their history, understand their culture, understand their language, and also end up as completely, wholly molded leaders, not half-baked leaders. Our expectation, therefore, for those of you in this institution and in all these other schools, by the time you pass out of these institutions, you should have had an idea of where we are coming from, where we are now, and most importantly, where we aspire to be, which is our future, which, by the way, only you and your colleagues can shape. That's our expectation. That's our vision.
Since Friday, the 13th of July 2017, was the Nobel laureate's 83rd birthday, a special birthday cake was cut to mark the day, with Governor SERIAKE DICKSON and other dignitaries flanking him. The
Distinguished Senator Foster Ogola, please join them, will spell his surname. The children, I believe you know how to spell Professor's surname, right? Right? So let's start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Happy birthday, Professor Wole Soyinka. Happy 83rd birthday. Thank you very much.
The event ended with the final remarks presented by Governor Henry SERIAKE DICKSON, in which he again saluted the Nobel laureate and other literary icons for being a shining symbol and a beacon of hope for Nigerians, that we can still have Nigerians who have earned global respect on the strength of their intellectual capabilities. He admonished the students not to allow the essence of the significance of their rare encounter with these world personalities be lost in them. He said they should be inspired by their experience and aim to achieve the height of their dreams.
The reason we have this is because we want to groom a new generation of servants and leaders. People who will stand up, do what is right and fair, and have the courage also to say no when no is the right answer. And today, you have some of those who help to mold our minds. When I was your age, and for most of us, when we were your age, we read their works and got inspired. And I believe the rest has been history. And so they are here talk to you, to expand your horizon and your world. And as I said yesterday, if I have any charge to you at all, and I won't get tired of repeating this, is to ask you to fly as high as you possibly can. Soar as high as your dreams can take you. And conquer the world. Because you can do it. You are Bayelsa's children, you are Jos children, you are Nigerian children, you are children of the world. Clap for yourselves again. Yesterday we came here to start the process of commissioning your minds. Your minds. And free you from this terrible, terrible grip of ignorance that has pervaded our state for so long, that has pervaded our region for so long, that I believe is one of the major causes of instability even in our country and our world. Because that is what fuels that iron chain, iron circle of poverty, illiteracy, unemployment, unemployability, criminality, militancy, and all of it. The only way we can get out of it is by a revolutionary program such as what we have rolled out in this state. Building schools. But now we have 15 of these kinds of schools. Our secondary schools are like tertiary institutions. In this state, you have the best public schools now that you can see in any state. In this state right now, we have delivered on the best public health care facilities and will continue to do so. So I urge you to take advantage of these facilities. Stay away from criminality, stay away from drug abuse and use, stay away from cultism, stay away from any negative influence that will steer you away from the path that we have all come to lay out for you.
To draw the curtain on the very intellectually enriching and stimulating encounter with Nigerian statesmen who are global leaders in their various areas of calling was the best in terms of culture and dances of Bayelsa people. A command performance was organized by the government at the DSP Alamisia Memorial Government House Hall, Yenagoa, Bayelsa State. The event began with the welcome remarks by the Chief of Staff to Bayelsa State Governor, who was also a former Speaker of Bayelsa State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Tamford Ongolo. He properly situated the reason why the event was organized and gave a hint of how loaded the night was in terms of entertainment.
I believe sincerely that reference will be made to the event of today, and that is when we will appreciate the immense benefits, the presence of our inspirational intellectual leaders. A lot of us have been hearing about them, but today they are with us in flesh and blood. We're interacting with them, and I could see how inspired the students were at the John National Academy. So the least we can do for them is to organize, as a state, organize a banquet like this. And that is why it has pleased His Excellency to put together this banquet for your entertainment. On that note, may I, on behalf of the governor and indeed the restoration government and the people of the state, say welcome and please enjoy your stay. We believe that at the end of the day, we will all continue to remember this day for what is happening and the effect it will have on the future leaders of Bayelsa State. Thank you all and God bless.
The Bayelsa State Council for Arts and Culture, musicians and comedians also enlivened the atmosphere with a series of performances before dinner was served.
Aneke kirima ba woro woro biriyo. Aneke kirima
Professor Akinwande Oluwole Wole Babatunde Soyinka, who bagged the prestigious Nobel Prize in Literature as far back as 1986, also has an overflowing bag of other notable awards, like the Academy of Achievement Golden Plate Awards, which he won in 2009. Professor Wole Soyinka, who is from Ishara Remo, Ogun State, has played an active role in Nigeria's political history and struggle for Nigeria's independence. He was a professor of comparative literature at the University of Ife from 1975 to 1979. He was a lecturer at the Cornell University and the Emory University in the United States of America. He was also a professor of creative writing at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, USA. Professor Wole Soyinka has also taught at the University of Oxford, Harvard, and Yale. Professor Wole Soyinka was a son of an Anglican minister, headmaster, and a political activist mother. He was involved in church work as a notable church chorister from his early age. Professor Wole Soyinka is a cousin to the late Fela Anikulapo Kuti, Beko Ransom Kuti, and Professor Olikoye Ransom Kuti. It will be recalled that Professor Wole Soyinka wrote the first full-length play produced on Nigeria television, titled My Father's Burden, produced by Segun Olushola of blessed memory. The play was actually featured on WNTV on the 6th of August, 1960. In spite of his intellectual bent, Professor Wole Soyinka has very high respect and regard for the tradition of his people in Egbaland. He holds one of the most prestigious titles of Egbaland. Professor Wole Soyinka is the Akilatun of Egbaland. In his remarks, Professor Wole Soyinka thanked Governor SERIAKE DICKSON and the people of Bayelsa State for deeming him and his other colleagues fit for the great honor. Professor Wole Soyinka praised the people of Bayelsa State and Governor SERIAKE DICKSON as he promised coming back on another visit to Bayelsa State in the nearest future.
In the old federal system, one of the priority of the Western region was education. It was announced, it was promoted, it was pursued on every level, and we've seen the results. And if Bayelsa says education, the primary resources of Bayelsa should be organized in such a way that that state can place the majority, the large part of its resources on that altar, education. And so what I see happening today is that Bayelsa has taken that decision, and I congratulate the state of Bayelsa for that decision. Because you and I know that if we don't, quote unquote, restructure the mind, and by restructuring the mind, I'm not saying the mind of one part of the country, no, I mean the entirety of the mind. So if we don't restructure the mind, then we shouldn't be surprised if we find that cows are the ones now siphoning the oil by a simple process of making sure that it is impossible to produce that commodity in safety. If you cannot produce your resource in safety, you cannot pursue even your educational agenda. And so security is not just another buzzword. Restructuring is not another buzzword. Reorganizing the nation in a way that enables each section, each constitutive unit of the totality to decide its method of regenerating its existence, the dignity of its people, There's satisfaction about the quality of life. That is what people are talking about. The structuring is multifaceted, and people shouldn't just joke and trivialize it. It goes to the very heart of day-to-day existence, both of individuals and of communities.
Professor Wole Soyinka was presented a special plaque that will constantly remind him of the love for and the very special esteem in which Bayelsa State people hold him.
Today, this plaque is presented to you, personalized plaque, presented to you, Professor Wole Soyinka, as a token of our appreciation, not just of your illustrious work in the field of literature, but far more than that, we thank you for being a reliable and dependable moral compass in our world and in our country. Congratulations. Thank you, sir.
Another plaque was also presented to Professor John Pepe Clark. In the special remarks of Governor SERIAKE DICKSON, he thanked the literary icons for their historic visits to Bayelsa State, which he said has added a very great value to the way Bayelsa State is seen in the eyes of the world.
Gentlemen and ladies, you are all aware that in this state, we also honor our leaders a lot. You know that the Cultural Center since was named after Dr. Gabriel Okara, and appropriately so. The cultural boulevard that this government has built is yet to be commissioned and yet to be put to use. And that cultural boulevard is a whole area made up of the Traditional Rulers Council, the best traditional rulers complex in the whole country. And it is there. You also have the archives, the state archives, because we must keep records. And one of the decisions I took as governor 2012 was also to appoint a chief historian and archivist of the state, because we must keep records as a people. And as you are all aware, we have also set up the Education Development Trust Fund, chaired by Professor Ison. And all the activities will be transparent. Let me use this opportunity to also call for further support for that endeavor, because we have to guarantee sustainability of this revolutionary intervention that we have started beyond the life of my administration.
There was also the talking drum performance, which is very peculiar to Bayelsa State people. The vote of thanks was given by the Deputy Governor of Bayelsa State, Rear Admiral John Jonah retired.
This is our state, and with friends like this always coming to assist us, to me, the sky is the limit. The critical mass we promised this state, we may not achieve on all, but despite the frailty of man, which will always call to question some of the duties, some of the actions taken, we promise these things. In education and health and a few other areas, by the time we leave, we wouldn't need to put so much effort. For the press, the reporters that have come, today is late. We may not be able to go to Studio One again, but those of you that will stay, tomorrow is another day. May God continue to bless all of us. For those that will be traveling, journey mercies to all your destinations. Thank you and God bless.
A child of destiny, who was not born with a silver spoon and the luxury and privileges that attend such positions. Governor Henry SERIAKE DICKSON's rise from zero to hero level through hard work, tenacity of purpose, dogged determination, and absolute trust in God should serve as a constant source of inspiration to everyone, that one can attain his dream once focused. A law graduate from the Rivers State University of Science and Technology, one-time Attorney General of Bayelsa State between 2006 and 2007. Governor Henry SERIAKE DICKSON represented Sagbama Ekeremo constituency of Bayelsa State at the Federal House of Representatives between 2007 and 2011. He was re-elected for a second time in the House of Representatives before he decided to serve his people, and so he contested and won the election as governor. Governor Henry SERIAKE DICKSON is a member of the Nigerian Bar Association, the International Bar Association, the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators, the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators UK, among others. Governor SERIAKE DICKSON's rich experience in the executive and legislative arms of government has helped him a great deal in the harmonious relationship between both arms, which has resulted in the success of his administration. Governor SERIAKE DICKSON has transformed the Bayelsa State Specialist Hospital into a world-class hospital, where Bayelsans of all ages and classes come for treatment at heavily subsidized rates. In the area of security, Bayelsa State has never had it so good. Perhaps the project that will bring Bayelsa State into instant global recognition is the ultra-modern multi-billion naira Bayelsa State International Airport, which has technologically compliant facilities. The Bayelsa State International Airport has the longest runway, measuring about 3.5 kilometers. The Bayelsa State International Airport, Amasoma, will be a very big hub where international companies whose operational bases are located in Bayelsa State and the adjoining states can use for their operations. The Bayelsa State International Airport, Amasoma, which is located very close to the Free Trade Zone and the Gulf of Guinea, will be used for the exportation of goods to different parts of the world. The Bayelsa State International Airport would open up the state and promote ease of entry and exit of potential investors and tourists to stimulate economic activities. The development of a seaport will further open up the state for achievements. When the BOS crew visited the Bayelsa State International Airport, Amasoma, we were taken round the airport, the parking lot, the terminal building, the runway and other important facilities, including the road into the airport, presently undergoing constructions. The public relations manager and head of the Dantata and Sewo team of contractors handling the project spoke to us about the stages the construction of the airport have gone through and the delivery date, which is planned for December 2017.
The government was able to achieve the sand filling of this place to the tune of 2.6 million cubic meters of sharp sand in a period of about 5 months, which is dramatic for such a project. After that, we proceeded to what we call the installation of vertical drains on the alignment of the runway as we see today, and from where we have gone forth to do what we call cement stabilization, stone base, and we are now putting the macadam on the runway. Also continuous on the other axis of the airport project is the apron project that is almost 95% complete, and the taxiway to connect the runway to the apron, the culverts, are also complete. So the project is in top gear and we are moving as planned. We have a timeline and we hope to deliver by December. We are hoping that by December we'll be able to witness the first aircraft landing in Bayelsa, the glory of all lands.
In the weeks ahead, BOS intends to bring you trending developments on the governance strides of Governor Henry SERIAKE DICKSON of Bayelsa State on BOS and on BISCON TV, our 24 hours channel on GoTV.